When Brad Treveling became general manager of the Toronto Maple Leafs, one thing that really people said stood out to him, like every general manager has different ways of managing their team and unique approaches and things like that. Now, I wouldn't say I'm like the hugest fan of Brad Treveling in general. He's okay. But apparently he is, one thing that is known about him around the league is that he's in on everything. So now, when it comes to Dylan Cousins, we can include multiple teams in that and the Toronto Maple Leafs. Now, this could just be teams just covering their bases. I personally am completely fine with this. Now, the reason that I really, really like this from the Maple Leafs point of view, if they can, I've always said this, if you've watched this channel for a while, that if the Leafs are willing to fix their center position, I'm willing to give up assets for the long term, okay? I think that the Maple Leafs should give up assets for the long term if they can actually solve something, right? I just don't like giving up assets or premium assets for an unrestricted free agent. But I mean, Dylan Cousins' name in the media has been heating up for a while. We have a couple of pretty big trades that have happened. New York, Vancouver. Vancouver's finally got settled, so there's obviously a little bit less drama around there. I still think we could see more out of Vancouver. We're obviously looking for them to trade for a forward, but Dylan Cousins. I really, really do think that Dylan Cousins is going to be a guy that is going to be traded, because it sounds to me like a lot of teams are going to be willing to give up premium assets for a player like that. Now, again, a lot of Sabres fans, I remember I made a video about this before, and a lot of Sabres fans, rightfully so, came in the comments and were saying, I don't want to give him up, it's not smart, it's hard to judge a player like Dylan Cousins. He's got, I think, 6 years, probably more than that, left on his contract. He's got a lot of years left on his contract. So it's difficult to give a player like that up because, I mean, is it really him that's bad, or is it just the Buffalo Sabres that is bad? Now, again, if you have consistent trade rumors around a player, that means that the team is willing to give him up. It sounds to me like the Buffalo Sabres are willing to give him up. That's just, I mean, logically speaking, it is what it is. So it is the Flames, the Wings, the Maple Leafs, and there's essentially a lot of teams that are actually in on this player right now. Again, this is a down season for Dylan Cousins, right? So I think that I'm not sure how bad the Buffalo Sabres management is, but if I was their management, I would want to get assets on the level of if he had a good season, right? If I was from the Buffalo Sabres point of view, I really would not want to give this player up for absolutely nothing. You know what I mean? Like you have to get somewhat of a win. So if you are going to trade for Dylan Cousins, remember, a premium asset is a center. You know what I mean? Like the Buffalo Sabres are going to want a first-round selection at the very least, and probably Easton Cowan at the very least. Like the Maple Leafs are going to have to give up serious assets for a player like this as well. And the Maple Leafs would have to move out money as well, right? So the question of the video is, of all the teams that are said by Kevin Weeks to be interested in the young center, what exactly team do you think would be the best fit for him? Do you think, like, I mean, again, the Leafs desperately do need a center, but again, you could say that about all teams, even the Calgary Flames. Like, again, before the trade rumor around Drager and Pierre LeBrun was the fact that Dylan Cousins was directly linked to the Calgary Flames. That is definitely true, but from Kevin Week is saying it's actually much more than that. I personally would, my take on this for the Maple Leafs as a Leafs fan perspective would be, it is a perfect opportunity to go get this player. You absolutely should. Like, I would be willing to give up like Danford and Easton Cowan. Like, I would be able to, I would clear the cupboards for a guy like this. He's a center. He's a really good center. He solves the Maple Leafs problem down the middle. He solves the Maple Leafs problem in terms of longevity down the middle. He gives you a little bit more leverage with John Tavares, so you don't have to pay him out your ass, right? Like, you don't have to do that if you don't want to, and it just makes a lot more logical sense. So I would be willing to give up a lot for him. Now, the real question is, though, can Dylan Cousins return to his form before? Does he have the ability to be an elite player still? Does he have is he a 60, 65, 70-point player? Or is that one season that he had with the Buffalo Sabres where he had like a 60-point season, is that like a one-off, right? So that's another question I would like to ask you guys. What do you think? Was that a one-off, or was that, he's probably just better? I personally side with the fact that the Buffalo Sabres just aren't a very good team right now. Obviously, they have a really good franchise. I mean, they have a great fan base. Like their fan base is like rabid, but it's just a very unfortunate thing what's happening there. Again, and Buffalo Sabres, they have shown absolutely no life. They're dead last in the division. We're looking at a situation where this team, at least other teams have shown life. The Red Wings, the Senators have shown life. The Boston Bruins seem to be taking a step back. A lot of these teams that are relatively bottom feeding in the Atlantic Division, generally speaking, have at least, even the Habs have shown some life. Now, they went on a losing streak recently, but they've shown some level of life by saying, no, like we're not that far away. So it's good to see that these teams are being involved in trades more, especially the Red Wings too. The Red Wings, that would be pretty good. Although I'm not exactly sure what the Red Wings would have to give up. I'm not sure they would give up Larkin. Maybe they would give up another piece. They would have to probably salary in, salary out. I hate it how we always have to focus on the salary cap. I absolutely despise it. But, whatever. We always have to do stupid mathematical calculations. One more thing, if the Buffalo Sabres do trade them to the Maple Leafs or any Atlantic Division opponent, you always have to pay a premium. Let's not forget that. You always pay a premium because you're going to have to trade them in division, and that means you're going to have to pay a premium asset for that. So that goes for any team that's in the Atlantic, including the Red Wings, right? Anyways, I am going to leave this trade rumor video there. If you could make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, I would greatly appreciate that, guys, and make sure to have a great day. Goodbye, guys.